Good morning. I'm about to share a video of a speech by Gertrude in Hamlet, very beautiful monologue, and I fear that a lot of the language is not very easy. So I think it would be better if I make a brief video explaining what it means. I'll put a link to the text in the description below the video, and it may be that my cat will make a guest appearance and so on. So, there is a willow grows aslant a brook. A willow is obviously a willow tree. Grows aslant means this. A brook is a stream. So there's a stream, and there's a willow tree that grows at an angle and hangs over the stream. This is the death of Ophelia. So a lot of the language is describing the place of the death of Ophelia, who goes mad after Hamlet accidentally kills her father. So there is a willow grows aslant a brook that shows his hoar leaves in the glassy stream. Oh, the cat's seen a bird. Is making noises. So hoar does not mean what anybody might think it means. It means, see this colour behind me? That white, frosty white. So the leaves of the willow are white for some reason. That shows his hoar leaves in the glassy stream. The stream is glassy because it's reflective. So if you look at the leaves of the willow reflected in the stream, they look white. There is a willow grows aslant a brook that shows his hoar leaves in the glassy stream. There with fantastic garlands did she come. Fantastic in this case does not mean great. It means really ornate and complicated. So she's made garlands, like a Hawaiian kind of flower necklace, but she's made them very complicated and she's wearing them. There with fantastic garlands did she come, of crowflowers, nettles, daisies, and long purples. So that's a list of plants and flowers. Long purples is the only difficult one, but we'll come on to that in the next line. Crowflowers, nettles, daisies, and long purples. That liberal shepherds give a grosser name, but our cold maids do dead men's fingers call them. So if you think cold maids means chaste, virgin, young girls. Cold in the sense of hot being kind of erotically active, and cold being not that, because they're too young and too well brought up and so on. So our cold maids do call them, these flowers, dead men's fingers. So it's obviously a flower that looks like, appendages. Liberal shepherds, liberal is not a political orientation here. It means shepherds who speak freely, free spoken. Give these long purples a grosser name. So if you imagine what they look like, gross being not polite. So it's obviously some kind of erotic name that they give these flowers because they look like, various appendages of the human body. Liberal shepherds give a grosser name, but our cold maids do dead men's fingers call them. There on the pendant boughs, her coronet weeds, clambering to hang. Pendant means hanging. The bough is the branch of the tree. So the branch of the tree is pendant, hanging, presumably over the stream. There on the pendant boughs, her coronet weeds. So coronet means a crown. So she's obviously made garlands for her neck, flowers in her hair. There on the pendant boughs, her coronet weeds, clambering to hang. She's climbed on the branches of the tree over the lake, not very safe, and we'll come on to that in a minute, to hang her various flowers. There on the coronet weeds, clambering to hang. There on the pendant boughs, her coronet weeds, clambering to hang. An envious sliver broke. So this is as if the tree were jealous of her beauty, and envious. Sliver is a sliver of the wood. The branch broke. An envious sliver broke, and down her weedy trophies, decorations, and down her weedy trophies and herself fell in the weeping brook. I think it's fairly straightforward. The branch broke. She fell in with her flowers. There her weedy trophies and herself fell in the weeping brook. Why the brook is weeping, I'm not quite sure. But it's definitely something to do, definitely to do with the flow of the water, and also metaphorically as if the water was sad, because the tree is envious, the water is sad, kind of the environment is personified. An envious sliver broke, down her weedy trophies and herself fell in the weeping brook. Her clothes spread wide. You imagine a person falling into the water, and there is a famous painting of this in the Tate Gallery in London, I think by Millet. She's lying like this and her clothes are spread. She was probably wearing a long dress, and if you fall in the water, I suppose it billows out. Her clothes spread wide, and mermaid-like a while they bore her up. So her clothes are floating around her, and I guess she's like a mermaid in that she's in the water and able to swim in it. Her clothes spread wide, and mermaid-like a while they bore her up, they kept her afloat. Which time she chanted snatches of old lauds. So laud is L-A-U-D-S. Literally in Latin it means to praise, probably to praise God. So, but in any case, I think they can be any songs, not just secular, not just religious songs. So she's full in the water. Her clothes are spread out. It's dangerous, but she. Which time she chanted snatches of old lauds. She's singing, as one incapable of her own distress. In this case, incapable doesn't mean. It means not knowing that she's in trouble. It doesn't mean having capacity. Which time, as if she were a person, not aware of the danger she's in, as one incapable of her own distress, or like a creature native and indued unto that element. That element is water. Like a creature native means native to the water, basically like a fish or a marine animal. Or like a creature native and indued unto that element, basically like something that lives in the water and knows what it's doing. Which time her clothes spread wide, and mermaid-like a while they bore her up. Which time she chanted snatches of old lauds, little snatches, little bits of songs, as one incapable of her own distress, or like a creature native and indued unto that element, like a fish, basically. But long it could not be. But this scene could not last long. But long it could not be, till that her garments, her clothes, heavy with their drink. They get soaked in water and they get heavy, and she sinks, basically. Till that her garments, heavy with their drink, pulled the poor wretch from her melodious lay. Lay is another word for a song. Pulled the poor wretch from her melodious lay to muddy death. So the poor creature, the poor mad girl, having lost her mind, climbs up onto a willow, which is overhanging a stream, tries to hang her flowers on the tree for some mad reason. Tree breaks, branch breaks, she falls into the water, does not realize the danger she's in, carries on singing a song, but in the meantime her clothes are getting heavier and heavier, soaking up the water, and they pull her, still singing, down into the muddy bottom of the brook, the stream. So this is a lovely speech. I think it's the first Shakespeare I ever memorized when I was about 16. I don't know why. But it's a very lovely speech, and I hope this has helped to make it more accessible. Have a lovely day, and be careful climbing on trees.